Man, this comic book sucks! And the reviews online said it was good! I wasted my money! Why didn't somebody tell me?
Hey everybody, this is Spinnerack. We're doing an old-fashioned audio review of comics. We haven't got to do any comic reviews in a little while. We got one coming for Avengers Forever. We just want to put some images in there, make it look a little better. But we have one review for you today. We also have Cal here, Cal Vanilla. Say hello to the people.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Sorry I couldn't be there last time. I had that card pulled. A whole bunch of us know that card, but I won't talk about it.
Well, so we have one comic to review. There's a it's a hotbed of comic stuff going on with Marvel and DC and sales and that and diversity. And then 21 issues in Batman, they finally trying to deal with this Watchmen button.
Yeah.
And they found it there. This nice. They have this. Do you have the comic in hand? Does it have that sort of effect?
I think there are like 6 different variants of this book, and I have just about all of them. So yeah.
So it has a reflector thing.
Yeah, there's a lenticolor cover, there's a chrome cover, and I think there's, because normally the DC books give you 2 variants every month anyway. That book had 4, I think it had 4 variants, including the lenticolor, and then if you were at a con, there was a different cover. So there's about 5 or 6 covers out there. I don't know how many altogether. I usually, for my own collection, I just do those sorts of things. But again, I have to give you credit because you called it. DC understood. They said, okay, we're going to do Rebirth. We're going to do all the number ones. All the number ones are going to have the variant issues. And then, so we're going to be selling 2 number ones every month for 2 months. So we're going to make the money that way. And then, before the sales even start slowing down, 21 issues. That's pretty good. Because at 2 issues a month, we're looking at about 10 months, a little bit more than 10 months in. And where did they go? Just like you said, they hit Watchmen. So they're going to keep the sales up. So it's pretty smart.
Well, the other thing is that people look at the drop, but for DC, same with DK3, like they've made their money in those first twice a month and the number ones. They've made their money, so they have the cushion. Now they're pulling out this Watchmen stuff, and then they got some other stuff going on, which is the new character stuff that DC's doing. So they're not slowing down, even if you're saying this is not your cup of tea. They're at least readable comic books. You have to say that, and the steam is it's much better than what they did with the New 52. New 52, they really weren't the same people involved as far as the top talent, just better done. I don't know if they were like just Jeff Johns really couldn't controls this time.
Well, the story writing was horrible. But the premise was terrible. Because they wanted to make the DC universe this darker place, and it's not. It's just not that place. So they were starting from a place where you were going to alienate a whole bunch of people who wanted to be on board, and then the people who came on board were a lot of the guys who have this fixated notion about what the DC universe is, and so for them, this is great. I didn't think it was going to be like this. I can enjoy this, and then after about a year, they were gone because they were like, well, I'm not really into superheroes anyway, and those. I mean, how far can you go with Batman, okay, but with the Flash, with Superman, how far can you go with that sort of darkness? Those characters just don't lend themselves to it. So, yeah, Rebirth was definitely for them a shot in the arm where they needed to go. And I guess without further ado, let's get into Batman 21.
Okay, do you want to start this one?
Yes, I can't say I did not enjoy this. I was looking forward to this issue because I came up with Bronze Age Batman. Bronze Age Batman was really cool. He was an escape artist. He was a master of disguise. He was the world's greatest detective. All of those real things. And I thought those things were really great. And in addition to being a top criminologist, I thought all those things were really great because it showed the mastery of all of that, of the mind, in addition to the body as well. And they let all of that go for him just to be this tough, badass, if you will. And there's just not a lot of a layer or nuance to him anymore. But this was going to involve some detective work, and it was supposed to be in conjunction with him and the Flash, because the Flash is, also, well, they're trying to make him out to be a detective, even though Wally he's a forensic scientist more than an actual detective. So I was looking forward to the issue. What I enjoyed about it is it really it's a fight at the end of the day between him and the Reverse Flash. So I've heard all of these things about, Batman this and Batman has a plan and Bob this. And I said, no, Batman shouldn't be able to fight any of these superpowered guys. And if he does, if he wins, it should be by the skin of his teeth, or he's damn near death, at the end of the day. That's how we should go. And that was the fight. He was pretty much stalling, playing for time. He got a couple of moves in here, moves in there. But at the end of the day, if he's alive, he's lucky to be alive. And for me, it's like, this is one of the reasons why I don't want to see those types of fights with Batman, because if you play them out the way that they should happen, be it with comic book realism or, you want to make, real world realism into it, he's just not going to be alive at the end of the day. It really takes away from the whole suspension of disbelief. The art as well was just top. So I mean, literally, for me, this was a page turner of a book, and in terms of setting up the second part, though, I really want to see where they're going to go with it. Now, that being said, my biggest disappointment is that there was no detective work. So for all of the anticipation I had in terms of seeing how they were going to discover things or deduce whatever was based on the clues that they have, all we got was a fight. But I can't say I didn't enjoy the fight.
Yeah, well, this, for me, I did have some issues, but it's interesting to see how King is allowing... Fybach to just sort of play around, like and then do a story that showcases the art and develop some things that I didn't know about, because they had Arkham watching the hockey game and trying to work the hockey game into the story. Like, it's going back to stuff that they would do, so mostly you would mainly know. I mean, other artists have done it, but definitely like Steranko or Frank Miller would sort of play off something else happening that isn't related, but the same tone is going on. And then this prediction of death, which also plays out with the Flash later on. So there's interesting story elements. The only thing I would say is, saying I enjoyed how it seemed like King and Fybach were working together to make this, visually enjoyable comic book. So it has beats. I could complain about the icing and saying, could Batman do this to get his one hit in? But it was fine. The only thing I would say is the whole trick with the time. I think Byrne did it in what's that comic? He did it twice, but he did it best in Alpha Flight 12, where you see it go from 9 seconds down, and he doesn't play. He plays where you feel the tension, where it seems like King is sort of stretching time however he wants. And to get that thing to really work nice is to keep it down to a set time and keep it so you're on each panel saying the time is running out. It plays out, but otherwise it was okay. I like the fact that the Flash didn't necessarily get there, and there's a good reason why. And then there's still more hints in what's going on with this Watchmen button. But I was like, is Flash 21 out? What's going on with Flash? I did want to see what was happening next, so that's always a good sign. I can be nitpicky, but it is a good sign when I wanted to see the next issue.
Right. I mean, we had an entire page. There's an entire page of, this is about 9 panels, and it's just Batman getting punched. This is not normally the stuff that, I want to pony up any money to do. But again, that's when I guess the story has surpassed whatever it was that the expectations that I came into, even though this is what I came to read. I was really enveloped into, okay, how's he going to get out of this? And then they did a very nice trick in one of these sequences where you look, and it's not like everything is taking 1 second. You look at 3 panels, and each panel is that same second. So it was 41, 41, 41, just for him to run across, like in less than a second, he's running across to throw Batman through some glass. And, those type of things really made for a good moment. Of course, he has to do the supervillain thing, where, I got to talk, just kill him. We can't do that. No, I've got to talk to him a little bit. And then, of course, there is, I have to correct myself. There is a bit of deduction on Batman's part where he's saying, well, look, if you're going to vibrate, you can't just vibrate. You got to have something solid to actually vibrate on. That's just, physical law. And that's how he's able to get that one, he's able to get that one hit in. And then, of course, he's able to get some hits. And you can hear all the Batman fanboys screaming like, Batman's always got a plan. He's got a plan. Yeah. And then, of course, Reverse Flash comes over, does a sonic boom. He's like, no. He's like, I'll take a couple of hits, but you're not winning this one. It's just not going to happen. So in terms of story structure, I thought it was pretty good. it was just a page turner. It was just a page turner at the end of the day. And then, of course, when the Flash shows up too late, that becomes an issue. Like, oh, wait a second. It's 1 second. Everybody, as a reader, you're saying, okay, the Flash should be here right now. It shouldn't take him longer than a couple of minutes. And then he doesn't show. He gives that excuse. He sees Batman all beat up. But, of course, Batman's tough. He's been thrown off a building by Bane and had his back broken. He'll be okay. But just like you said, oh, right, I want to see what's going to happen in part 2. And if there can be any detective work at all, any further deductions or anything of that nature from what we're seeing. And they give us a little bit to go on with that actual button and some connection with Psycho Pirate's mask, but not the stuff that I was actually looking for, especially since they built it up as a detective story with these two guys and, Batman being the lead detective. But to be quite honest, Detective Chimp is a better detective than the Flash at the end of the day. So, but Detective Chimp doesn't have his own comic, so we see why they're paired up.
Well, that's one of the things that I was looking at with this was, with the other thing that you point out, just to go on the idea of Batman, why don't they kill him? Like, it was also, I never really, when I was a kid watching comic books, I didn't mind that Batman would get knocked out and captured and they wouldn't kill him, but to the modern audience, they were like, why doesn't the Joker just kill him? And it's like, well, no, we're getting all this other cool stuff that's happening that Batman has to get out of.
Yeah, that was a draw to the character. He was this great escape artist. He would get captured because these guys would get the drop on him. So, and that was supposed to also be part of his character. The Batman was a regular guy. Okay, you could sneak up on him. He wasn't going to be perfect or anything of that nature. And they would always put him in, especially if you watch the 66 series, the reruns. He was, something would happen, and that was part of the draw. How the hell was he going to get out of this? How will Batman escape this time? And if he does, at what cost? Tune in next time. And they just totally scuttled that for him to be this master planner who's always, 10 steps ahead, but then it totally ruined a lot of his rogues gallery. Like, how can you have these guys as competent threats when you're 10 steps ahead of everybody? You can beat everybody on the Justice League, but you can't take out the Joker. So that, that becomes an intrinsic problem with it. But this issue, I think, solves a lot of that. I don't know how far they'll go with it, but it does solve a lot of that for me because he's really not supposed to be fighting these. He's not on the same level as these guys. If he can survive, that will be great. And we all, we get to see that with him. If anything, I'll give him a win simply because he's still breathing at the end of this when he, actually should be, when he actually should be dead. And yeah, Fabok's art is, it's pretty compelling. It's very well done. It's very well done in terms of the pacing as well. So this is the second. Yeah, I was reading the Batman storyline with Bane, which I think that was great all the way up until the end, and then they just gave him the whole Batman move. I'm Batman, and he kind of wins at the end. I'm like, whatever. But they really built it up to the point. I guess it was popular enough that Bane is going to get his own miniseries. So I said, okay, fine, I can win both ways. But this right over here, yeah, it's not the comic that I wanted, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Yeah, there was one of the other bits that you had said about this, and it just dropped out of my memory. But it was one of the things with Batman. Let me just take a quick look. Let's just pause for a second. There's something I wanted to say. Oh, the part that you were talking about, the detective work. That's the thing. Like I always kind of like there's always good detective work, and what I call like to date myself, heart to heart. Like heart to heart, they go on vacation, they make out, they walk on the beach. And all the stories about to happen, and then the body would just roll up because they're about to leave town. And it's like, oh, we got to solve this. The mystery runs into him. This time, Batman has the button and is just next to this mask, and then something happens that we don't know. So that part, I wish Batman would have done something or examined it or put something and caused it and saying, hey, this is vibrating the same wavelength as that, or something dumb, something to connect it to make Batman at least make the connection between the two, But otherwise, they give you more hints coming on what happened with the Reverse Flash. So it's very interesting to see what is going on the other side of this button. Because this button has a lot more power than it had in the actual Watchmen series. So,
well, the Watchmen button in the Watchmen series had no power whatsoever. So this is definitely an upgrade from what we were reading. In terms of Watchmen, I'll continue on with the dating. That show was with who? Robert. It was with Oh man, I can only remember the lead actress. That was
Wagner and,
Stephanie Powers.
Stephanie Powers, yeah.
But those were less character-driven stories and more plot-driven stories. Where okay, we're tuning in every week because we want to see how these guys are going to sort it out. All right, because other than that, it's not believable that these guys just keep falling into all of these problems, every single week. Get better security, that sort of thing. And it was also a show where, like, the husband and wife actually were attracted to each other. They couldn't keep their hands off each other, so that was, I guess, the other draw of it. There was the whole romantic aspect of it as well. With a lot of modern comics, they threw out a lot of that for. They really thought of it for lowest common denominator action, and this. I have to admit, this book will definitely feed that lowest common denominator want for action. It's just done well, and that's where I can differ on the whole thing. I think we were talking about stock. I don't know. I think I was talking with you about stock characters, and one of the reasons why we hate like Mary Sue's or the Black Best Friend is because they stand out like a sore thumb. But when they're done well, we don't really care because it's just enveloped into the story. And we're entertained. That is the biggest thing. At the end of the day, am I entertained? If I'm entertained, I can let a whole bunch of stuff go. If I'm not entertained, then it just doesn't happen. So right over here, the entertainment values, I mean, what can I tell you? You're not wasting your money here. The story is definitely compelling enough that you want to see what's going to happen next. Top art. No issues on that. You got you got 3 premier characters in terms of Batman, Flash, and Reverse Flash. It's pretty hard to be dissatisfied. If you just want some good entertainment, something you can actually read twice because it's not necessarily that compelling, but that enjoyable just for the pictures. Yeah, this is a good one for you.
Well, yeah, the timing I would say is something that in doing the review and looking at it again. It was sort of like, fun to look at from panel to panel what's happening. Like there's a moment where Batman tries to punch the Reverse Flash and you see it go through him. And it's like, oh yeah, like I would go back and page through it to see that, see what's happening and the timing of how it goes. But I guess we have to get through the reviews of it, our actual stars. And I'm going for... Just giving it 3 stars. That's what I'm giving it.
I knew you would lowball this thing. I knew you would.
That's not lowball.
Oh, a 3? No, I'll give it a 4. All right, so we can always round up. No, I think the last 8 reviews we've either been like on different spectrums or it's like one number different. So we just end up rounding up or rounding down at the end of the day. We gotta. Well, no, we can't. We have to be ourselves at the end of the day.
Yes. I got in trouble with Earl the last time. This guy who comments on our thing, he said, "Don't back down." So I'm not backing down anymore. I hear you, Earl. I'm not doing it.
No, whatever, Earl. Go take a shower. Whoever you are, Earl. Yeah, go wash up. We didn't ask. No, we just. I mean, again, for me, the biggest thing with reading comics is that I don't like to feel that I've wasted my money. Okay, that's why a lot of guys, at least, in the older days of the comic book store, you go over and a lot of guys were reading off the shelf. And I thought the biggest compliment you could give a comic is that you thumb through it. You pretty much read at least 50% of it by thumbing through it, and you still wanted to buy it. You still wanted to own that particular comic. I think those work pretty well. But I mean, this was old school for me. When this issue came out, literally, I was at the store and I had to contain myself because I don't read a lot of the comics in hand anymore. A lot of the ones I want to preserve, so I won't even read it. I'll just keep it in the bag and I'll read the digital copy that I got or something. But this was one like, no, couldn't wait. Had to pop it out. Had to turn in the pages. What's going on? But again, it's just really, I mean, the entertainment value has been pretty good. DC's done a very good job of maintaining this. This is a 2-year storyline, and I can't say it feels like a 2-year storyline at all. Superman has been steady. Batman books have been pretty entertaining. I haven't got a chance to read anything with the Flash up until now, but I've heard nothing bad about that. There's still, of course, your characters that are on the fringes, but they've been on the fringes for so long. Guys like Hawkman, Green Arrow, they never really know what to do with them, unfortunately. But, hey, your core characters are there. What more can I say? It's a goodbye.
Yeah, and I guess that's going to be it. The only thing I was paging through this book, and in the back end they had the Lazarus contract. Excuse my pronunciation. They have this DC Rebirth, Titans, Teen Titans, Deathstroke, Titans Annual, the Lazarus contract. let's just give a little precursor. Are we going to do this? I mean, it has your boy Christopher Priest on it. He's a part of this thing.
He's on there?
I mean, obviously, he's doing Deathstroke, so he's got one of the issues.
Okay, all right. I might check that out. I'm still disappointed in his last book, that last outing he did with Superman versus Deathstroke.
It's been like how many months?
Come on, look. I gotta hold the man to his word. You can't tell me that you're tired of the Dark Knight Returns stuff. And then when I read the story, I was like, well, this is kind of the Dark Knight Returns stuff. The biggest problem I have with that is that he let Superman allow Deathstroke to kill the guy that he was trying to kill. I was like, no. I understand that if it's whoever's book it in, they're supposed to win, but you're gonna let Superman let this dude kill someone? I'm not too sure about that. I can't agree with you there. Sorry, love you, Priest, but.
We need to be able to get another interview with him. He might not be so nice once he finds out the Spinner Rack guys win at him again.
Well, hey, all I can say is what I said. I love you, Priest. Don't agree with everything, but love you, Priest. We definitely want some more time. If you're listening. More time, please.
Well, I guess that's going to be it. Just remember, we're bringing you Avengers Forever is coming. We just got to get some images. There's a lot of content. Same like if you read Avengers Forever, it had a lot of checklists in there. So
we got a lot of good stuff coming to you. We're going to have a Versus series coming out. Definitely keep your eyes open for that. We're just, we're hardworking guys. We got a whole bunch of stuff. For all you people who've been with us since the beginning, thanks. For everybody who's coming on, stay on. We got a lot of stuff coming. It's going to be a really big year for us.
All right, thanks everyone, and see you later. Spinner Rack out.
We're out.
Thanks Spinner Rack. You saved me money.